Welcome back to my channel. You can take a cutting from a fig that you like the taste of and grow a new fig sapling for yourself. Or you can take cuttings from the roses you've grown in your garden, or in pots using the same methods, allowing you to produce dozens of the same rows. Now, let's watch the techniques that guarantee 100% sprouting and rooting together. Let's start with figs in this video. To take cuttings from figs and turn these cuttings into new figs. You can create cuttings from 1-year-old branches of figs and roses before the buds burst from November to mid-March. We need to cut the tip of the cutting we've taken so that new shoots can emerge from the buds. The cutting length should be between 15 to 30 cm. The number of eyes is between 3 and 6 pieces are the ideal dimensions for steel production. The buds should not have burst at the time you take the cutting. It's ideal to cut from here. Cut the top part horizontally. This way the rainwater will flow away easily. Cut the bottom horizontally as well to improve rooting. Prepare all the cuttings this way. One of the most important points is that the cuttings should be soaked in water for at least 12 hours. When the cuttings have absorbed enough water, they will root more easily. Now that the cuttings, have been soaking in water for about 12 hours, we can start our natural application to speed up the rooting process. For this, take a napkin and place it on the ground where the cuttings will root. The napkin will help keep the root pot moist and hold the natural product we will use for rooting. We will use turmeric for rooting. The fine roots will develop and turmeric will provide the minerals that the cutting needs. Pour the turmeric onto the strip part of the cutting and wrap the napkin tightly around the cutting to keep it in place. Press it down firmly and your cutting process is complete. Apply the same process to the other cuttings. You can also dip rose cuttings or any other cuttings you want to root into turmeric this way to speed up their rooting. Spray the napkins wrapped around the cuttings one last time to soak them thoroughly. Make sure that the pot we will plant the cuttings in has a drainage hole at the bottom. Fill the bottom of the pot with some stones or hardened soil. Let's prepare the soil that we will fill into the pot. We will use a bit of garden soil and peat soil for the plant. Add a bit of perlite to this mixture so that it will provide mineral support and help retain the moisture in the soil. After mixing it well, we can transfer it to our pot. Plant the cuttings in this pot so that the pots wrapped in napkins are inside the soil. By the way, when you plant them in the soil, make sure that at least one bud is left buried in the soil. We need to create a greenhouse environment to prevent the cuttings from drying out. For this, cut the bottom part of a 10-liter plastic bottle. Pour plenty of water into the pot. Pour the water until it runs out from the bottom so that all the soil gets wet. Once you're sure the soil is completely soaked, cover the pot with the cut plastic bottle. Wait for the shoots to emerge in a bright place that doesn't get direct sunlight and is below 18 degrees. As you can see here, you'll see the buds bursting within a maximum of 3 days. They started to become more pronounced in the first week. After 10 days, the leaves started to open and the shoots began to grow. Rooting will take at least a month. Now remove the plastic bottle and occasionally mist the shoots with water so they don't dry out. Here, you can see the pepper seedling with turmeric in its roots. It has continued to produce peppers since summer. I'm preparing a video about this. I will be publishing it soon. When it comes to rooting roses, Similarly, the cutting length should be between 15 to 30 cm. Having between 3 to 6 buds is the ideal measurement for cutting production. Steel! The eyes should not have burst when you bought it. As you can see here, if there are figs and roses whose buds have not yet burst in February or March, you can take cuttings. Don't forget to soak the cuttings in water for at least 12 hours and plant the soil you've prepared in such a way that the bottom bud stays buried in the soil. When preparing the cutting, we cut horizontally about 1 cm below the lowest bud. If there are leaves on the cutting, prune them so it doesn't waste its energy on the leaves. We said that the lowest bud will stay buried in the soil. We will bury it in the soil just below the second bud. This part will stay underground. 1, 2. We have 3 buds. We cut above the 4th bud. I want to leave a little bit of space so that when the cut dries, the 4th bud won't get damaged. We cut it horizontally just like we did at the bottom. This way, when it rains, it will easily flow away. After planting the rose cuttings, make sure to pour onion skin liquid fertilizer. This liquid fertilizer will nourish the cutting. You can find out how to prepare this liquid fertilizer from the link above or in the descriptions I will add. You can access it from the link, you can reach it. You have rose cuttings at home. You should know that since the humidity is low in indoor environments, during winter the cuttings may root less. That's why mist your cutting with water every day to keep it moist. If your cuttings are in the garden, there's no need for this process. When you have them on the balcony, check the cuttings. If it's dry, mist it every day. If you don't have a balcony, you can place it in front of a window like this. It's ideal for it to be in a bright place. The ideal temperature for rooting is between 18 to 22 degrees. There should be more than 70% humidity. So if you have them indoors, make sure to mist them with water and water the soil to keep them moist. If the environment is very dry, to ensure that the cuttings stay moist, you can place supports around the pot, place sticks, and cover them with a transparent bag so that the cuttings can get light. You can maintain its moisture by providing a greenhouse environment. It would be better if you make a few holes in the bag for the cuttings to get some air. You can see that the rose cuttings will start to sprout in about a week. We've reached the end of the video. Share this video so everyone can see it and leave a comment below. At least a simple thank you or some feedback like a suggestion. Write it down. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to support me. See you in my next videos.
Welcome back to my channel. Did you know that you can get your flower to root on its own without separating it from the stem using a plastic cup? How do we root a cutting while it's still on the plant? Let's watch together. We will root one of the cuttings with this plastic cup without separating it from the main stem. For this, we make a cut from the side of the cup all the way down to the bottom. We also need to make a hole at the bottom of the cup that is big enough for the cutting to fit in. We need to make a hole that's the same thickness as this cutting so that it fits perfectly. Try to place the prepared cup up to the point where the cutting connects to the main stem. Make sure it sits completely like this. Cover the gaps at the bottom of the cup with a tissue or a piece of cloth so that the soil we will fill it with doesn't leak out through those gaps. Also, seal the cut you made on the side of the cup with tape. As for the soil that we will fill into the glass, add coconut peat to the peat soil used as plant soil. Coconut coir accelerates rooting. You can also do this process directly with garden soil. However, the rooting process takes a bit longer. We are filling the prepared soil mix into the cup. We are soaking the soil we filled in thoroughly. The water we use is onion skin liquid fertilizer, a formula that accelerates rooting. I will add above or in the description how to prepare this mixture. You can access it from the link. Keep checking this soil and make sure it stays moist. We will wait for it to root at room temperature, which is between 18 and 22 degrees. When we checked about 2 months later, while our bayat flower continues its normal growth as expected, we can very clearly see the roots developing in the cup we used for rooting, and they are indeed healthy. Now, what we need to do is to cut the rooted cutting from the main stem with a sterile pair of scissors. We can transfer the flower we separated into its new pot now. As for the potting soil, we will use a mixture of some garden soil, peat, and pumice stone. Pumice stone helps improve soil drainage, allowing plant roots to breathe better and grow more effectively. Our pot must have a drainage hole. At the same time, pumice stone, which is rich in minerals, will provide mineral support to the roots with every watering. Fill the potting mix up to halfway. Now let's transfer our flower into its pot. When you take out the plastic cup, you can see the root development more clearly. This method is more reliable than rooting in water. When you plant it with the soil around the roots, you won't damage the fine roots of your flower. And your flower will adapt more easily to its new environment. It's not a problem if our flower hasn't grown straight. It's enough to plant it with the stem facing straight up. As time goes on, it will stand straight. Fill the pot with the remaining soil mixture. Gently press down on it to compact the soil. Give the first watering, the life-giving water. When watering the Lifimbahia flower, meaning the pot here, don't use tap water or drinking water directly. You can give your flower the tap water after boiling it and letting it sit at room temperature. The Lifimbahia prefers the water given this way. So, how will this flower stand upright? Turn it towards the direction you want it to straighten in the sun. Over time, it will adjust its leaves towards the sun, and its stem will stand upright. By the way, I want to address a question that is frequently asked. Is the Lifimbahia flower toxic? As long as you don't eat it, there's no problem. In the mouth, by chewing the plant, symptoms like eye, swelling, difficulty speaking, pain in the lips, swelling, and burning sensations can be observed. Additionally, serious clinical signs such as respiratory failure due to obstruction in the airway may develop. It is believed that the calcium oxalate crystals found within the plant cells are responsible for the poisonings. When you perform similar tasks to what I'm doing right now, either use gloves or wash your hands thoroughly with soap when you're done. Towards the end of the video, you will see that our flower has straightened over time. We've reached the end of another video. Share this video so everyone can see it, and leave a comment below. At least some simple feedback like a thank you or a suggestion. Write it down. If you like the video, click like. If you are new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell to support my channel. See you in my next videos.
Welcome back to my channel. This time we will germinate 3 products on a single biosurface. The Albanian pepper is large and the tomato cluster is in the middle. If you look at the small Albanian pepper, it was planted on 24/3/2019. In my previous videos, I also use orchid soil for the bottom layer of the soil. This is rich in both protein and vitamins. It also helps keep the soil moist. I'm pouring a small amount of these. I'm not pouring too much. See in the application? I'm pouring humus-rich soil over the orchid soil. I don't want to pour the soil too thick. Let me take a little more of these. You need to pour it low because we need to leave some space on top so that when we put the lid on the container, the sprouts can push against the lid as they start to grow. So pour the soil low. Now, we can start the seed sowing process. I got this cluster tomato from an acquaintance. A friend I trust is also growing it. I know that the seeds are also productive. I will plant these directly into the wet soil. With the help of a spoon, I'll take all these seeds out from here. Since the seeds will be wet, I'm sure they will germinate even faster. I had also talked about the seeds of Albanian pepper in my previous videos. I soak them in water for about a day. The seeds are soaking, and I'm washing the healthy seeds that sink to the bottom into the soil. I'm doing the process with the sprouts. That's why it's helpful to soak your seeds in a glass of water a day in advance. It would be beneficial to wait for them to soak. Let's place the last seed. We're covering it with soil again. We're not putting more than 1 centimeter of soil. As I said, you should not raise it too much because the sprouts do not rest on the lid. Don't put more than 1 centimeter of soil on top so they can easily come up. I'm watering it with a spray. I don't want to pour water directly on it. It shouldn't be muddy. Water it occasionally with a spray for control. We'll cover it with the violin's own lid to keep its moisture. Don't take it out to the balcony. Keep it in the house because the weather is colder in March. It will germinate faster in a warm environment at home. Nine days later, let's take a look at the germination of Albanian peppers, tomatoes, and small Albanian peppers. You won't believe how the tomatoes have turned out in just 9 days. Let's see if there's any movement in the Albanian pepper. The tomatoes sprouted faster because of that. Let's see, it's empty here. No. It has shown itself. This will also come up in a few days, just wait. There's one here too. The tomatoes germinated very quickly and grew in height. Now, we will start the transplanting process. Because we will take them out from here, we need to separate the individual seed trays so they can grow healthier. First of all, the container we will put the tomatoes in. I'll prepare our container, our seed tray. This time we will make a hole in the bottom. So, when we used to spray it, we weren't soaking the soil that much, but this time we will soak it a bit. And excess water. We want it to drain. I'm going to put a sponge inside, and I'll explain that now. Yes, we've made our holes. This time, we will actually place the lid we put on the seed tray underneath the seed tray. Excess water will stay right here, like a pot saucer. Now I'm going to put a sponge inside this seed tray. Thin sponges. These sponges will help retain the moisture in the soil, so it will hold excess water inside. A lot of water will already flow out through the hole. It will also help draw the water from the container below back into the soil through the sponge. I mostly apply this in spreading processes. I've seen its benefits too. I recommend you to do this as well. There's one last one left here. Let's put that one in too. As I said, there will be a lid underneath as well, so it won't leak around. I think it will be quite healthy. Now, we're going to do the spreading process. 5 centimeters. Let's carefully take out the seedlings that have outgrown their pots. This one hasn't intertwined with the roots yet. It's easy to scoop from the bottom with a spoon. Here we will plant the strong ones, By strong ones, I mean I won't plant those that have leaves that are more vibrant but sprout later. In other words, I will not plant it with this hypocrisy. I will plant it in a different place, but you cannot get healthy vegetables from them. So this is a fact. So you can plant it too, but these strong ones will grow much faster. The small ones will remain weak. So, when you're doing the scattering process here, try to plant the strong ones in your soil or garden. Yes, all that's left are the Albanian peppers. We'll cover them up again and wait in the same way. Let them germinate too. Probably they will also find a place in a pot or something. The tomatoes have grown much faster now. Let's cover it up. Let them preserve their moisture. To your hardening process. Let's get started. Yes, into our sponge biome that has 6 holes that we have prepared. We will start filling the soil. This time, we won't fill it with just a little bit of soil. Let's fill our soil generously and comfortably. Yes, we've filled it with soil up to the top. Now, we can start the planting process. Each seedling, we'll place it in a separate compartment. It will now develop there. As I already said, it's in the soil, so the roots are not tangled with each other. We will make a hole with our finger. If you adjust it so that the white side goes into the soil, it will be healthier. If you set it to insert, it will be healthier. The other white side that comes out towards the green we'll plant each one separately and look, for example, as I mentioned earlier, there is a weak one and a strong one. We will plant the strong one I'm separating this. Look, there's a bigger space than that. Plant the stronger ones. An advantage in my life. very nice way. We have done the sprinkling process separately. Now I will lightly spray the soft soil on top to make it a bit firmer. Then I will water it normally, but the soil shouldn't be too dry, nor should it be muddy. If you water too much, the sponge underneath will absorb it, but don't water it too much and ruin the sapling. Water it in a balanced and proportional way. Do the watering process. I won't take them outside right now, because we are on the 2nd of April. It's a bit cold outside. It's not completely warm. I'm also waiting for it to warm up a bit. That's why I will keep them at home. I say, don't take them out into direct sunlight. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. If you want to watch my other videos, they are available on my channel. You can already see it up there. I have many videos on germination and other fertilizer preparation.
Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will watch how to grow organic carrots in pots on the balcony. What steps do we follow from start to finish to grow organic fresh carrots in pots that you can safely pick and feed to your children whenever you want? Let's watch together. In our previous videos, we tried growing carrots from carrots. Let's watch together. We grew carrots, cut the top, rooted and planted, got seeds. We cut off the part of the carrot that we usually throw away and placed it in a container with water to encourage it to root. In the second period, flowers formed above the soil, and after drying, seeds were collected. Time to germinate seeds. Since it was the second period, we were able to form flowers on the part above the soil, and after the flowers dried, we successfully collected seeds. Now, it's time to germinate these seeds. First, we soak the seeds in water for a day to ensure better germination. By the way, the seeds that won't germinate will also float on the surface of the water. There is no one above the water here. If there were, I wouldn't use them. Pour the seeds onto a cloth and separate them from each other. Wait for 5 minutes. This way, the seeds won't stick together and will be easier to sprinkle into the soil. Since the carrot will grow underground, you need to choose a deep pot. Make sure it's at least a hand's breadth deep. I'm using garden soil as the soil, but it's better if you mix in 1/4 of river sand, not just garden soil. On top of the soil, I'm filling it with about 1 centimeter thick peat soil for the seeds to germinate comfortably. This layer becomes the bed where the seed will germinate. Moisten this layer well. Sprinkle the carrot seeds on top. Cover the seeds again with about 1 centimeter thick peat soil. In this layer, we added on top of the garden soil. As the carrot leaves germinate and come above the soil, the carrot itself will grow downwards into the soil. Sandy soil will help the carrot to grow more easily in the soil and allow the root part to absorb water more easily. Gently press down on it. Now you can give the seeds the life-giving water that will get them moving, since we will water again in a week. Make sure to soak the soil well. For the first 2 days, make sure it stays moist in a perforated bag. The ideal temperature for germination is 20-22 degrees. When you provide moisture, temperature, and clean air for germination, the results are guaranteed. If you keep the bag on for more than 2 days, the top of the soil will start to mold. Spring and autumn are the ideal times for planting carrots. So, March and November are the most suitable months. I did the germination in November, and I'm covering the top of the soil with a bag for the first 2 days to keep it warm. If you do this process in March, you won't need the bag. The weather needs to be mild for planting carrots. Germination occurs within 10 to 15 days. Carrots planted in November are harvested in the winter months, while those planted in March are harvested in the summer months. You can start harvesting the carrots about 3 months later. Carrots are biennial plants. This means that they need 2 growing seasons to complete their reproductive cycles. So, you can harvest the seeds in the second year. How, you ask? If you don't harvest the carrot, it will become too woody to eat after waiting for 16 to 18 weeks. If the temperatures in your area remain consistently below 15 degrees for at least 10 to 12 weeks, you can overwinter your crop in your garden. The best guarantee is that if your soil freezes in winter, you can leave your carrots in the garden during this time. If the place you're in is too hot or too cold for overwintering in the garden, you can harvest your roots before the first hard frost and store them in the refrigerator or in a cool, dark place. To do this, dig up the carrot, cut the greens, and leave about 1 to 2 cm of the stem. Brush off the excess soil with your hands. Do not wash the carrot. If this process seems difficult for you, you can also use the carrots you bought from the market to collect seeds. In spring, replant these carrots. When replanting, the upper parts of the roots should be planted so that they protrude slightly from the ground. Make sure to leave a 1 meter gap between each plant. In the second growing years of these vegetables, they will need extra space. Despite their sturdy appearance, carrot roots are very sensitive to being disturbed. They will need extra space. Despite their sturdy appearance, carrot roots are very sensitive to being disturbed. When the warm days of spring arrive, you'll notice fresh shoots coming out from the tips of your carrots. And the flower stalk will develop within 4 to 6 weeks. Water them as you normally would. As summer progresses, you'll see these beautiful flowers drying up and turning brown. It's time to harvest your seeds. Cut the flowers and place them in paper bags. To prevent mold formation, it needs air circulation. So if you pack it too tightly, it will get moldy. To let the flowers dry completely, place the bags in a dry spot in your home with the openings facing up. You'll know that they are completely dry when the flower stalks become brittle instead of flexible. Separate the seeds and store them in a dry place. Your seeds are ready for the next year. We've reached the end of another video. Share this video so everyone can see it. And leave a comment below. At least write a simple thank you or a suggestion as feedback. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, you can subscribe for free to support me. If you want to be the first to know about new videos, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and activate the bell. See you in my next videos.
Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will show you the third day of seed germination, how I performed the processes, the incredible benefits of onion skins used in these processes for plants, and how to prepare an effective fertilizer with these skins. I will talk about that. So, how is this mixture prepared? Add about 2 cups of onion skins to 1 liter of water. I used a mix of regular onion and red onion skins. To meet the calcium requirement, add 2-3 eggs as well. Do not discard the eggs you put into this mixture. Only the shells will darken a bit. You can use them again as boiled eggs for breakfast or something. After boiling for about 5 to 7 minutes, the color of the eggs will darken significantly. You will understand from that. You will let this mixture cool down.
After removing the eggs inside, we strain this water using a sieve. Once placed in a jar or bottle, it is left to steep in a cool and shaded place for 2 days. You can also apply this mixture to tomato seedlings, which I do to my own seedlings. It increases yield, strengthens the root system and stems. It also protects against various diseases. This mixture needs to be diluted by adding 2 more liters of water. It is applied once to tomato seedlings that have reached 15 to 20 centimeters, about a glass of water. The second application should be done when the tomatoes start to flower. I will use it here when planting the seeds. Here is the mixture in my hand. To apply it more easily, I filled this mixture into a spray bottle. I will apply it to the soil with this spray bottle. And as I explained, in most of my videos, we actually put the seeds into a glass of water, about a day in advance, so that the full seeds stay at the bottom. If they are empty, they will remain on the surface of the glass. And to ensure easy germination, you should keep them in the glass this way. Again, we fill the biopots we have with regular flower soil. In the meantime, I would like to share a bit more information about onions with you. Onion peel as a fertilizer. It is economical, effective, safe, and beneficial for garden flowers, garden plants, and house flowers. Onion peel is used not only in its pure form, but also as a raw material for infusion and decoction. So, what are the active mineral and nutrients in onion peel? B vitamins help strengthen seeds, seedlings, mature plants, and fruits. They accelerate germination and growth. Everyone knows that normally cucumber seeds start to germinate within 8 to 10 days. But we saw them germinate on the 3rd day. And on the 4th day, the sprouts started to rise up well. Onion peels play a significant role in the development of diseased or stressed plants, their roots and fruits. As a fertilizer, onion peel has a positive effect on the root system of plants. It heals them and restores them to their normal order. The vitamin E inside protects against decay and strengthens the plants. Thanks to its carotene, a powerful antioxidant nutrient, it successfully fights plant diseases with its immune-stimulating and disinfecting properties. It improves seed germination in seedlings. It can increase resistance to various diseases in indoor and garden plants. It is a well-known antioxidant. If you noticed here, I filled the containers almost to the brim. I left about half a centimeter of space, and we are applying this organic liquid fertilizer that we have watched to the entire soil. We spray it abundantly. In other words, we are preparing the ground where we will place the seeds first. Now, some of our followers will ask if you have drilled holes in the bottoms of these videos. If you don't, these seeds will rot. No, I didn't drill them and these seeds will not rot. I call this both a medicine and a natural fertilizer that we have prepared. It is truly very beneficial. It successfully combats not only microorganisms, but also plant diseases caused by bacteria, rot, and fungi. As I mentioned earlier, we thoroughly wet the soil, where we will place the seeds, and I wet it with onion juice, on top of which I will place the seeds. Now, here, I'm placing 2 seeds in each hole. So what happens, what doesn't? Maybe one will sprout and the other won't. Considering the possibility, I am placing 2 seeds each. This mixture we have prepared will significantly reduce the risk of seeds and seedlings being infected by mold fungi and rot. We have placed all the seeds and, as you can see, I am pouring about a tablespoon of soil on top. I am not putting a very thick layer of soil. You might say that this sprouted more quickly, of course, not because of this. I don't want to compact it here. The seeds, I have already moistened the bottom. I will also moisten the topsoil and I want it to move freely. And we generously pour the same mixture over the top of the soil again. Now we use this for germinating seeds and in fruit-bearing plants. So how can we use it for flowers at home? At home, it can be used for the recovery of unhealthy flowers, except for bulbous plants, aloe vera, cacti, and fleshy leaf plants like ficus. It is highly beneficial for the regulation of flowering and deciduous plants. We can use them as we always do. We close the lid on the container again so that we won't water it again until it germinates. The water inside the soil will circulate, it will evaporate and then return to the soil. This way we ensure it germinates. I want to show it because it's always asked. Look, I don't place it in front of the window. It only receives light. At the same time, it's also close to the radiator. We don't place it directly in the sun, so I don't want it to be placed in front of the window and receive direct sunlight. As you can see, the window is here. It only receives light from the window, and the warmth from the radiator comes in. It stands here at the edge of the bookshelf, and it develops here. And believe me, 3 days later, I planted this on the 1st of April. And you won't believe it, we'll have friends. Look, try this method. Write to me in the comments 3 or 4 days later. No, sir. There will definitely be those who say, will it germinate in 3 days? Will it germinate in 4 days? It won't germinate. You're lying. I'm telling you again, try it, and then let's talk. Meanwhile, while you watch how these cucumber seeds and Darlosu seedlings grow quickly here, how should you prepare this mixture for your flowers at home? Let me talk about that. You will steep 1 cup of onion peels in 2 liters of boiling water. Then you need to sprinkle it again with 2 liters of water. So you will use it directly in that way. That is, it needs to be boiled again on low heat for 5 minutes and left to cool, then steeped for 2 days. Steep it, then mix it with 2 liters of water. What will be the effect? To protect against fungus, especially mold, insects and decay, pour about 1 cup into a pot with a maximum diameter of 20 centimeters once or twice a week, and sprinkle these boiled onion peels onto the soil of the pot. This will repel harmful insects. The mixture we prepared contains vitamins A and B, calcium, iron, potassium, phosphorus, and zinc. Look here on April 1st, 3 of the seeds in the glass had already increased. So, I placed 2 seeds in each cell of the tray. 3 seeds were left over, and I planted them in the soil where the pepper stems are on the balcony. Let's see if they will grow. Look, you can see right now, there's no movement in the seed. Let me tell you the main reason for this to you. Firstly, the soil is cold. Even if it's on a glass balcony, the soil is cold. That's why germination is currently delayed. At the same time, I didn't pour the onion water I had prepared here. I just poured regular water. I poured the life-giving water, and I said, let's see what will be the difference between the two. So I'm saying it again. There will be those who don't believe me. Can germination happen in 3 or 4 days? They will say, look, try these out. So don't just write directly, because there will be those who do. Believe me, I won't respond to or delete such comments. You should see it too. Apply it, friends. Watch this video from start to finish. You will definitely skip through it, I know this, but you need to see the fine details. After missing those details, the process you did, meaning the germination, doesn't work. So what do you do then? Start over from scratch. That's why I'm saying again, watch the entire video and learn all the details. Now, on April 6th, the cucumber seedlings have reached this stage. This will happen to you too. If you don't remove them from here, they will droop and eventually stop growing. What do we need to do for this? We need to prepare an environment where we can temporarily scatter them. For the seedlings, in this, a soil that contains regular flower soil without any fertilizers or anything.
Look at me. I mean, do you see how the soil with onion water has extended to the roots by cleaning it? By cleaning it from its own soil I scatter them in a way that is minimal. In this soil, instead of growing taller, it will start to open its leaves and thicken its stem. I will not use any vitamins here. To avoid damaging the sprouts, insert the handle of the spoon into the soil. Move it around a bit to the right and left. Let the surrounding soil settle. Look, a hole has been opened. Carefully, we will place it inside. There will be about 1 or 2 fingers length left. It will continue to develop there. I mean, when I say it will continue to develop, we won't expect it to grow and bear fruit from here. In about 1 or maybe 2 weeks, we will take them out from here again, place them in larger pots, and start harvesting the product there. We are only keeping them here temporarily. If we continue to keep them in the trays where they germinated, they will grow even longer, and after a while we will lose our seedlings. Any more? We moved our cucumber seedlings to a separate environment to prevent them from growing too tall, and are giving them their initial watering. We are no longer providing any protein, vitamins, or anything else. From here on, they will continue to develop. If you like this video, please don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel, and activate the bell to watch my next videos.